Nathan Zachary, and Ralph Benton. The staff members are Shayla Reed, Community Development Director, Miranda Jordan, Staff Attorney, Dana Gray, Planning and Zoning Administrator, and Chelsea Tubbs, Planner 1. There are a few protocol items I need to make you aware of before we start the meeting. Please listen closely on how tonight's meeting will be conducted. Keep your comments and presentation on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important to the commission to make its decision. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You will receive a warning from the chair if you deviate from this requirement. A second deviation will result in a request for you to leave the meeting and the premises for the night. Refrain from any applause or comments from the audience. Only one person will be talking at a time, and all comments will be made at the podium after the speaker has been recognized by the chair. Please direct all comments to the chair and the commission, not to the audience or the staff. Please do not applaud or react to speakers, speak from the audience, cheer, carry on in conversations with others in the audience, or disrupt the order of this meeting in any way. Be aware that these hearings are not a debate or an opportunity to ask questions which must be answered by an individual tonight, but merely an opportunity to present information to the commission. Other than the applicant, no person may speak more than once. The applicant may reserve part of their speaking time as rebuttal and may speak next and last and may use the entire 20 minutes allotted for the pro side of the application. Other than the applicant, no person may speak longer than 5 minutes. If you have a cell phone or any other electronic device, I ask that you either power them off or put them in silent mode. If anyone wishes to speak tonight, please fill out a form available at the table up front and hand it to the staff before approaching the podium. After the case is called, we will hear next from the staff regarding any relevant information to this case. The commission members will be free to ask questions at any time before voting on the project. Following the applicant, anyone who wishes to speak for or against the project or just ask questions will have an opportunity to do so. The city ordinance restricts each side to a maximum of 20 minutes, or time may be waived at the discretion of the presiding official. If questions are raised, we may ask the applicant to speak again. Afterward, we will call for a motion and a second, have any necessary discussion, and if the matter is not tabled, we will vote to recommend approval or denial of the application. This commission is only a recommending body. The items will be heard by the mayor and council, whether we recommend approval or recommend denial. All items will be heard by the city's mayor and council at their legislative meeting on Thursday, January 30th, and voted upon by them at their meeting on the following Monday, February 3rd. The first item on our agenda is approve the minutes of December 3rd, 2024. Is there any discussion needed on the minutes? Do I have a motion regarding the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, the minutes from the December 3rd meeting have been approved. Is there any old business? Okay. The first case is item 24-415. Hold a public hearing and consider a request for a special land use permit for a self-storage facility for property zone LI, Light Industrial District, being plus or minus 3.558 acres at 2203 South Flat Rock Road in Land Lot 190, District 2, Section 5, Partial ID 019-002-50109. Application by Nasir Realty Group. Staff will now present the item.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is a proposal for a special land use permit for a mini warehouse and self-storage facility located at 2203 South Flat Rock Road. This is a 3.5 acre vacant lot zone light industrial. They are proposing 483 storage units, of which 209 of them will be non-climate controlled, which will be located at the rear of the site, and 274 climate control units, which will be in the front of the site in a one-story building. Within that building, they'll also have an office, and the applicant is present.
All right. Are there any questions for the staff? All right. Thank you, sir. Will the applicant come forward and state their name and address for the record? Tell us what you intend to do on this property.
Good afternoon. My name is Nasir Farah. I'm the Nasir Realty Group. So Norfolk Storage will be owned by Nasir Realty Group, and we'll do a DBA as a Norfolk Storage in the city of Douglas Hill. And I'll defer this to my civil engineer to present.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, thanks for having us tonight. I'm Andrew Lewis with AML Engineering and Development Services, and I'm at 3606 Dunbarton Drive, Birmingham, Alabama, 35223. Tonight we have Nasir, who you just met, as well as Ben Johnson with MSSI Architecture, who is the architect for the project. I'm the civil engineer, and would be happy to give you a brief presentation of the project if you haven't had a chance to review so far. As stated, it's at 2203 South Flat Rock Road. This would be on the edge of the city limits, so the county land is directly behind the property. This would be just on the western edge of the city on South Flat Rock Road. If you're familiar, there's an industrial building immediately south, and then a relatively new industrial development off of Owl Creek Drive is to the east of the site. I just wanted to show the vicinity map. I'm assuming you guys can see the screen too.
Yes.
Okay. But I'll back up, and these are some just really brief bullet points about the development, which much of this has already been stated, but that I would like to point out that we are here to request this special land use permit approval as required in the code under the LI light industrial zoning, which recently required the special land use approval for self-storage use. And that we plan to comply with the design standards that are outlined in your newest zoning code. We've been working with staff to provide those details that would demonstrate those compliance items. We conducted a pre-application meeting on October 31st, and since have been working with staff, and Chelsea we appreciate the help with coordinating that to develop this site plan and building elevations that we have here. So just in the last bullet there, that Nasir and his team are committed to working collaboratively with the city to develop a project that's mutually beneficial to all. This is the survey. Not a lot to really discuss here. Unless you have a question, I'll just keep moving on. This is an existing conditions map. One thing to point out on this is that the site is vacant, as stated earlier. It's been cleared, so there's just mostly brush and some very small trees on the property. There is a relatively recent stand of pine trees along South Flat Rock Road, but other than that, the property is generally devoid of any significant vegetation or trees. There's a drainage feature on the southern boundary of the property, and otherwise the property slopes in that direction, kind of from the northeast to the southwest. And as stated before, it's kind of across the street from that Owl Creek Drive public street that goes to the other light industrial development in your city. This is our layout. Right now, we're proposing a single-story building, climate control with a larger footprint in the front. The other units in the back are single-story drive-up units, And, note that this is a conceptual plan, and that as we continue to progress the drawings and development and do our diligence items, we may change this a little. I guess everybody's aware of that, but for the purposes of demonstrating compliance, this is what we have right now. And should we gain approval, we will continue with other items and adjust the plan and work with staff as needed. But there's something to note here. There's a single access point on South Flat Rock Road as shown there. And then we provide circulation around the buildings, meeting the fire marshal's requirements for minimum turning radii on these center lines there that's demonstrated on this plan. We have the building separations as required by the code. Right now we're showing a fence around the property that's also required by code. But we would like to discuss that further as we get along with plans, but that is in fact what is required by code. This is a preliminary grading plan. This simply is for the purposes of demonstrating that we can have the area needed for stormwater compliance. So we have a stormwater management facility located in the southeast corner of the site there for the building, the primary larger building, and then we also have another facility in the rear on the far western edge of the site that would accommodate the rest of the development. But generally, this is just to show that we've reserved the correct room to do that. Further designs will, provide details on exactly how that would work and comply with your stormwater management ordinance. These are the architectural drawings, and at this point, I'd appreciate it if Ben would come up and go through the drawings, since he prepared these. He's much more familiar than I am. Thank you.
My name is Ben Johnson with MSSI Design. I'm an architectural consultant. Reside at 103 Holder Road, Temple, Georgia. I've designed close to 200 storage facilities nationwide. I've been in the industry for 24 plus years. This is a floor plan layout of the unit mix of how many units that we will be providing for the facility. The next slide is showing, well, I'll go back to this. So everything is on the larger building, like they said earlier, that it'll be climate controlled, fully climate controlled. And the client is also planning on having it being unmanned. So there will not be anybody in the office, only a kiosk for clients to be able to come up, scan their QR code, get the unit that they would like, and pay for it at the kiosk. He will have staff coming and making sure everything's maintained and taking care of the property, but as far as normal operation, it is deemed as an unmanned facility. And then the single story in the rear of the property is all drive-up storage, and it will all be completely enclosed with a gate access code. So no one from the public, unless they have an actual unit in the facility, will be able to get into the site without the access code and paying for a unit. This is just a typical roof plan showing the slopes of our roofs, showing the drainage and complying with the civil. This is our typical elevations. We have proposed doing the entire facility out of brick with architectural features every 30 to 40 feet with breakup of the facade. We have two different facades, one lower and one upper, to where we can break up the facade and not have any linear facade that's not taken care of. We're proposing an office, which the client will have a kiosk in with parapets and a canopy above it to give you an idea of where the entrance is into the facility, so that the public would know where they need to go to get their unit rented. This is just a conceptual 3D plan of the facility showing you everything that we are proposing. It'll be single sloped. Everything will be have a parapet, standing seam roof. The mechanical units will be on the ground, and they will be covered in with screening around them, so they won't even be on the roof. And then this is just another concept plan.
Okay. I have a question. Did you check to see how many storage facilities are already in Douglas County and Douglasville?
Yes, we did, and according to our feasibility studies, within 5-mile radius, probably not necessarily in the city, but within 5-mile radius, there are around 11,
11,
10, 11, yeah.
right. That's just within a 5-mile radius.
That's within the 5-mile radius, but they mostly non-climate controls. So when you consider climate control buildings, maybe there are just few of them, or within 5-mile radius, maybe there's 5 of them.
Okay, so what made you determine that another storage facility was needed in Douglasville?
The location where this facility will be based on population and the number of storage within the 5-mile radius, and the population grows within the next 2 to 5 years. That's what this is all about. That's what the feasibility study is based on. The population growth for the city is expected to be around 5.5% in 2026, and that's one of the driving factors within the 3-mile radius. And on top of that, the site is on the edge of the city, and toward the north side of the facility, there's no other self-storage. So basically, we will be covering not only the city, but also the north side, 5-mile north, there's no other self-storage. So that's one of the key factor for our feasibility study.
Okay.
I have a question for staff. Aren't storage units already light industrial?
That's one of the zoning requirements that is for storage. So, but this particular one does require a special land use permit because
Why?
of what it is. That's the way it is in the code when the code was written. So we have various uses that require a special land use permit. So it allows it to get fully reviewed and approved before they can go forward.
And
Okay, so
Dana-
all storage units need a special land use permit, or just this one?
If it's mini warehouse and self-storage, that does require this special land use permit.
That was actually
I remember we,
a change last year to our code that required it to be a special land use permit instead of just a permitted use.
okay.
And if I can
talked
state
about that.
regarding the other storage facilities, we do require a 1/8 mile plan to let us know that there are no other storages within that 1/8 mile, and they met that requirement.
1/8?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
I just had a question. I'm not very familiar with, this is for, not for staff, I'm sorry. The storage facility, this one will be totally unmanned? I want to make sure I understood that properly.
Yes, sir.
So if a customer or someone has an issue with getting into their storage facility, how would they manage that?
So they'll have a QR code, and they'll have a number that they can reach someone local that would be able to come over. Because it's unmanned as far as operations, but as far as maintenance, he will still have someone coming over and maintaining the property, making sure that when tenants move out, they're closed out, they have moved their stuff out, they close the unit up. If there's trash around or left on the ground or whatever, they keep the property maintained.
Will there be security or cameras or?
Yes, there will be cameras and regular alarm system, like everything will be safe. interior and exterior.
Okay. Are there any other questions from,
So, does the owner, do you have any other storage properties here in Douglasville
No.
or in Metro
I
Atlanta?
used to own one in Texas, but not in here, yeah, not in Douglasville. I used to own one in another state, not in the city. Not in the city, yeah. But one thing I want to just mention was about the light industrial. That was one question that we were asking, if the light industrial are automatically acceptable without special land use, but yes, it's a new code requirement that we had to go through the process.
all right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the project, ask questions, or make other comments? Please come forward, tell us your name and address. Is there anyone who would like to speak other than in favor of this project? Please come forward, tell us your name and address. Is there any need for further discussion on this item?
I just had one question, and I haven't been out that way in a while, but is there a house, a residential property right next to that? And as far as the fencing, I see on the diagram, some of the fencing that's going to be around it, would there be vegetation also to kind of keep that barrier for them?
So it's not right next, it's behind to the rear, which is in the county, which requires them to have a 100-foot buffer.
Okay,
And according to their layout right now, they're basically their first building's about 150 foot from that property line.
okay. Thank you.
There are full of trees behind as well, so it's not visible.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Do I have a motion regarding this application?
I make a motion to approve item 24-415.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? All right, the motion passes and the application is recommended for approval, and it will be heard by the city council and the mayor at their legislative meeting on January 30th and voted upon them on the following Monday, February 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Are there any staff reports?
I'm sorry, I know I put none, but I did send you all an email. I'm sorry. I did send you all an email this morning regarding the Main Street Town Hall meeting, if you all wanted to attend that on January 27th, I believe, at 6 o'clock in the conference center. Okay,
I did too.
thank you.
All right. If there is no further business, then I say we adjourn.